Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Wonderings for this week. This last Sunday, we celebrated Easter, Resurrection Sunday. And as I mentioned on Sunday, resurrection is not something we just should celebrate one day and then move on with our lives. Resurrection is a way of life. It's a mindset, an attitude that we take on. Because we are participating in the life of Jesus Christ in this world. We have been swept up into something greater than ourselves. And resurrection is a way of life for us who are calling Jesus Lord, who follow in his way, who have been saved by his death. In a way, one way I like to think about it is that the life of resurrection is a life of defiance. It's a life of resistance, a life that resists a world that seems to the contrary of resurrection. In the midst of a world that, from all appearances, looks like it's dying and falling apart, resurrection is resistant. It is defiance to ways of the world that bring death. And it is walking in the way of life, being swept up into the way of Jesus Christ in this world and the life he brings. There's a lyric from a band called Living Sacrifice that I find particularly helpful when I think about it. Now, if you're going to look up Living Sacrifice, be forewarned. They are a somewhat aggressive band, so don't think differently of me. I also listen to Keith Green, so there you go. But the song is called Flatline, and the lyric goes like this. I respond relentless, determination, persistent. I am resistant. I refuse to be consumed by this parasite. I refuse to be consumed by what's draining life. Resurrection says, I refuse. I am resistant. I choose to follow in the way of life, to live life with the hope of resurrection in the midst of a world crumbling, falling apart. The psalmists, if you read the Psalms, they are poems and songs of defiance, of resistance. All of the Psalms almost, except for the praise Psalms, almost all of the Psalms speak about struggle and difficulty and pain of life, and yet praise God and call out to God in the midst of that. The Psalms are poems of resistance, where it's not resistance to people, not resistance to movements or to agendas or ideologies. It's resistance to a world that seems to be decaying and falling apart, where death and struggle seem to have the day. Resurrection thinking says, no, I am resistant. I choose to follow in the way of Christ, to be a people of resurrection. So as you live your life this week and today, wonder about resistance. Wonder what it would be like to live in a way of defiance, not defiance in a negative way, but defiance to negativity in the world, defiance to death. In moments where life around you, people around you are sucking the life from the environment, live in defiance and bring life, bring hope, walk in joy in the midst of what comes. It's not ignoring what is difficult, but it is being defiant and resistant in the midst of it. And it's a life of joy. Ultimately, as Paul says, it's joy. Joy always, even in the midst of struggling and pain. So live resistantly today. Live with resurrection thinking. Know that Christ has been raised, and so there is hope in the midst of whatever comes. Have a good day today.